and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, your producer here at TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, and we have a treat for you this week. We have, again, Miss Gini Koch, famed author and... what should we say? What should we call you?
Pop culture. I like that. I can go with High Priestess. High Priestess is good. High Priestess is good.
Okay. So.
Give me offerings.
There we go. And the reason we have Gini again.
I answered about.
Yeah, there we go.
I answered everything. Hey, you.
Hey, you. So do I. We have her again because we are just... tomorrow is the release of
Universal Alien, which is book 10 in my Alien, Katherine, Kitty Katt series.
Yay!
Whoa!
Yeah. So very excited.
Yay! So that is what we're here to talk about today. We'll talk about that book. We'll talk about some of her other material. I'll have to say that I personally have read all of the books in the Alien series up to this point, and virtually everything else that has been released, except for the A.E. Stanton stuff, because I can't get my hands on it. I've read every other piece of... and your book about your autobiography, I guess it is.
Well, the humor collection.
Yeah, the humor collection.
Random musings from the Funny Girl.
Yeah, I haven't read that, and nor have I read stuff that's in some of the anthologies, but I've read everything else that is available, at least on Amazon.
You need the anthologies. You do.
Okay.
I swear.
I'll
pimp them later.
I just was kind of,
I know, you were catching up. It's cool.
Trying to catch up on everything. And I'll say that your writing is... I pick up different things in each book or each story, shall we say, that is you. But every genre that you write, or not genre, I suppose it's...
the pen name change.
Pen names certainly have different...
Well, would you consider them to be like different aspects to your personality?
Yeah.
Wow. I actually, in order to write... the reason I write under different pen names is because I sound different as those pen names. I want to say something different. As Gini Koch and as G.J. Koch, I write funny. Very funny, especially G.J. Koch, who writes the Alexander Outland series. And those are very funny. Funny is really, really hard, and it takes a lot of effort. And sometimes I don't want to be funny, and especially after I've written a couple funny novels or a couple novels and some shorts that are funny, I want to break.
But there's still some humor in some of the other stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not funny, but
they're not humorless because I'm not a humorless person, and it comes through. But I think of them as different people because it helps me write in their voice. So A.E. Stanton, for example, I see as an old West kind of guy. He rides horses and motorcycles, and he does not have a sense of humor he's aware of.
But everything that you write when you're under these different pen names, it's all very organic in terms of the overall tone of how you're writing.
I'm an extreme linear writer, yes.
Okay.
I start with the title, and then I go to the first line, and then when I get to the end, I stop.
Now,
Literally.
Something that has been really been kind of hexing me lately. Yeah. We know that for anybody who's read, especially your Alien series, there are... well, anybody who's read about Kitty, I understand there's some people who kind of make jokes that maybe you are Kitty, Kitty is you. I guess kind of what I'm really... I'm bumping into things. What I'm kind of wondering is there anything about Kitty that came from your personal life?
Yes, but that's true of every single solitary character. They come out of my mind, and I think most authors would agree with me on this. It's like there are aspects of me in every single character, including the villains, maybe especially the villains. And you should think about
Who did you learn that from?
But that's true of all of us. I mean, they're all aspects of our personality. Of course, my friends that know me, and you guys have said it too, that, oh, you sound like Kitty. And yes, Kitty does sound like me. But I can also sound like Victoria. I can sound like Knapp, Alexander Outland. I can sound like Mephistopheles too. You just don't want me to.
I can really hear Jeff in you every time. Jeff in the book says, "Not just no, but hell no." I was like, okay, that's Jenny. I'm just hearing you.
Yeah, that is when Jeff says it's not just no, hell no. Yeah, it is. And again, because they're coming out of my mind. I am the God. I am the creator. And that is one of the fun things about being an author, is that it is all under your control. Being an extreme linear writer like I am, it doesn't feel like it's under my control, which is actually great. Touched by an Alien, Kitty literally dictated that book to me.
Wow.
Which was great. And I really like her to do that. And she now has some demands for me that I have to do to get her to dictate. But beyond that, it's pretty great working that way. When you do work for hire, like 221 Baker Streets, where I have a mystery story writing Sherlock Holmes. It's a Sherlock Holmes anthology, where you can put Sherlock and John any place, anytime, anywhere, and anyhow. That one I kind of had to outline in my mind a little bit more, because work for hire kind of wants to know where you're going.
Right.
The same with my X-Files story, and I wrote all the single ladies in that in the Baker Streets anthology, and my story Sewers will be in the first X-Files anthology that's coming out in 2015. And I was still linear, but I had to give some kind of idea to the editor, Jonathan Mayberry, of where I was going. So work for hire forces a little more outlining, but so far I've been really lucky, and all my editors on work for hire have been like, oh yeah, that promo paragraph, that's great.
Well, that's interesting. So for some of the work for hire, let's talk about the Sherlock Holmes, because right now Holmes is it's kind of a hot property right now with Robert Downey Jr.'s movie and with Benedict Cumberbatch and the BBC series.
Johnny Lee Miller in Elementary still is awesome. I love Elementary.
We're huge fans of Elementary.
I love Elementary way more than I love Sherlock, I just have to say.
We're
both
huge
said
fans
of Elementary.
We watched the episode last night, and it was like,
what
the heck happened?
Yeah, how dare they end the episode on a cliffhanger?
I know, that was exactly, he was already asleep because he said, just watch it. I know you want to watch it again. My husband, who's here in the studio with us, silently petting cats behind us. And I almost screamed, but he was asleep. If he had been awake, I'd have been screaming. What? So no, I love that show.
Yeah, we're big fans of that show.
It's great.
So with I want to ask about the Holmes. You said that it's work for hire. Are you given any particular guidelines when you have to go in there and work these stories?
It depends on the anthology. For 221 Baker Streets, David Moore, who's our editor at Abaddon, he basically, we could do whatever we wanted. So he and I met at Worldcon last year in San Antonio, and I'm like, I've got to be in. He's like, you're in. It's a longer story, but actually I talk about it on their blog. And I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, and I had a home story I really wanted to tell. And at first I was going to do something else. I was going to say Homes in the Old West, and I thought, that's the same time frame. It's just a different location. I don't want to do that. And so I ran how I wanted to do Sherlock by him. David was really excited about it, and that was all I had to do. I just, I was over word count, and he said that was okay, and because you check those things. But I was allowed to do anything I wanted.
They're pretty loose about that kind of thing then.
He was. X-Files, you had to have your idea approved, which I did by Jonathan, and I think I don't know how many of them you ran by Chris Carter. I get to say Chris Carter.
Yay!
Sorry, I'm just having an X-Files geek moment. But Jonathan had to approve that. It had to fit in, and you couldn't, you can't kill Skulder and Mully.
Right.
Skulder and Mully. Wow. Okay.
We're drinking wine, people.
We've already had
several glasses of wine.
We're on the second bottle of wine now.
Mulder and Scully. Can we fix that in post? I don't know.
No,
I don't think we want
We're
to.
going to keep it.
We're going to keep that one.
So, you can't kill them, for example. You can't change things. You have to stick with the very large canon.
Okay, I was going to ask about it because I know that when outside writers were coming in to write for the expanded Star Wars universe, everything had to be approved by Lucas because he did have a certain set of guidelines. So it's the same thing with X-Files, I would imagine.
Yes, it is very much the same thing. But there's a ton of freedom in there within it. It's just, don't do something stupid with the characters that we can't recover from. My story is actually a spoiler alert. I haven't really talked about the story yet. Because
Spoilers? Oh no.
no, well, it's really more of a teaser alert. Because I live spoiler free. But mine is, there is no Scully. Mine is an early Mulder story.
Okay, that's a teaser.
Yeah.
Good teaser.
Yeah. So, and Jonathan liked my story and got to go over word count.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always nice when they let you go over word count. And I was under, and he said, I want some more description here. And I said, I cut it all out to make word count. It's like, put it back in. I don't care anymore. Yeah.
That's great.
So word count is a maximum then.
Word count is always, you have a minimum and a maximum normally from every work from hire. And that's true of most paying markets. So you have to hit it. I write novel length naturally. So shorter is always harder for me. So while I try, when, it's like, okay, you've got a 10,000 word maximum. Okay, that's nice and generous, but I was still over, so I cut out description and he had me put it back in, which was, very nice. I agree with him. I think it was needed, but, you have to cut somewhere, and I was trying to cut fat versus bone, and he felt I'd cut muscle, and so we put it back in.
Well, if he allows it, then all the better.
Yeah, and he was a wonderful editor. John, actually, I've never really had a bad editor. I'm very fortunate that way, in part because I think that there's nothing that can't be improved by the application of a judicious edit.
Right.
And my editors like me for that.
Okay. Now I want to go back to the Alien series because one thing that I wrote about in my review of the first book is that I love that we don't get info dump in the universe building. There have been so many classic authors, and I know that I'm going to get lynched for this, that have been just dumping too much of their universe building, and it becomes so overwhelming that it can almost alienate the reader. We don't get that. It's one of the things that I really love about the series, and I think the reason it works so well is because you do write in first person. As Kitty is learning about this universe that she's married into, we learn at the same time. So, given all of that, I'm kind of wondering how much of this overall universe do you already have mapped out in your mind versus new details that just kind of come to you as you're writing?
Well, that's kind of a twofold question. Let me actually back up on the info dump. And I appreciate that. I kill myself to not info dump, but you do have to sprinkle information in as it comes. And yet, I can point you to dozens of negative reviews from readers who don't, quote, have accused me of info dumping.
What?
I know. Info dumping
I saw one of those and I thought,
I have
okay.
no.
The eye of the beholder. Whatever. Is all I can say. I know. And you just have to say that's your experience as a reader.
I guess.
Sorry, can't change it. Moving on. Especially because I'm writing book 11 right now, and I'm hoping by the time this airs it'll be done, because it's really due really soon. But you have to, in book 11 in the series, and I still know for a fact there will be somebody, probably more than one somebody's, who picks up book 11 first, who doesn't go get touched by an alien, even though it'll be sitting on the shelf there, but picks up Alien Separation and starts reading that, and you have to give them something. I've had readers that do this constantly, and most of them will read through the book and realize I've missed a lot and go back to the start. Others will stop about a quarter, a third, halfway through and go, this is ridiculous. I've got to go get those other books. So far, I have not heard anybody who said, well, I couldn't follow book 9, so I'm never reading this author again. It's like, I'm sorry, if you picked up book 9 and expected that you'd know everything that was going on, I feel for you, but I've done my best.
But you're good. You're good at telling a story just from the beginning, whether you have to have the previous information or not.
There's a bit of a primer. There's always a primer in each of your books.
Yes,
that helps.
And go forward, because each story is kind of, it's self-contained somewhat.
They're supposed to be. Each story needs to stand alone, but they are connected. But to get back to Ben's actual question, which was, how much is in my mind? I call my subconscious master, and master is very good to me in many ways. And one of those things, everything I write has a mystery in it. You may not realize that as a reader, especially because you're reading science fiction or you're reading fantasy or paranormal or horror or whatever, but everything has a mystery that has to be solved, because mysteries are actually my first love. So I write as we call it, write the elaborate ruse naturally.
Yes, you do.
Oh yes, and
Thank
these books
you so much.
And
Yeah.
within that,
It's
I
like,
have
where the hell did that come from?
elaborate ruses within their elaborate ruses, and I don't actually, despite the fact that my books are I think the shortest, Touched is the shortest, and I think that was like 120, 125 after edits turned in. And Dawes is a fantastic publisher. I've almost never had to cut out. I usually have to add in, which has been great.
Wow, and then there's also those elaborate or those ruses that you never visit again, and it's
No, they're coming.
and I want to touch on that later.
There's a couple of things that I've thought.
You think?
Okay.
She's just letting that line. No, they come.
I
back.
want to touch
yes,
on that.
there have been
I
a
wanna
few
touch
of
on that.
those, but there's been a couple of others.
But to answer the question, Master has it all stored. So
Okay.
every book, I get to peel back an onion layer, if you will, and say, oh, okay, all that stuff that you thought was just a throwaway line or something you were never going to see. Okay, there is a line that reader says to Kitty in book 2 that I know everyone who reads it thinks, oh, that's a cute, funny little throwaway line, and that comes immediately to fruition at the end of book 3. But if you weren't paying attention, you miss it.
Which
The line is Kitty. Well, readers teasing Kitty about maybe you're pregnant, and she goes, "I think Jeff Martini would know that before I do."
Oh yeah.
And then we just zoom right on.
And guess what?
Right.
And guess what?
Yeah.
Okay. There is no in book 1. One of the villains basically mentions that Martini won't need to be worried about the proliferation of his race anymore. What is book 4? Alien proliferation.
Exactly.
They all tie in. I really don't have throwaway words. Anything that you've got in there, you've got.
I'm still waiting on a couple of things, and I can't remember what they are now. But I've read some things, and then it's like
they're coming through.
That's
in Alien
that
Tango.
she just doesn't. I know that you just don't say things.
No,
Yes.
there's nothing random. In Alien Tango, for example, we start talking about Paraguay. Paraguay does not pay off. It builds.
Yeah,
it doesn't pay off till books 5 and 6.
Well, the fact that it keeps coming up tells me that it's deliberately not meant to be as a throwaway.
Yeah. No,
Obviously, it's something it's going to be revisited at some point, and eventually we're going to reach some kind of an end game on that.
Yeah, my goal was for repeat. Well, my goals are many, but one of them was for repeat readers. People like me who it's a favorite series, and you read from book 1. When the next one's coming out, you do your reread from book 1 to whatever the last book is, so that you're all prepped and primed and prepared for the next book coming. I do that, for example, with Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. So, I'm reading 30, 40 books to prep for the next one that comes out. I'm a really fast reader. And I want each time a rereader reads them for them to discover something new.
And actually, I was just kind of thinking about that, how I'd mentioned to Keith, he said, oh, I've finished reading all the books. What am I going to do? And my answer to that was start again.
Yeah.
Start over, because you never know. I kind of had the feeling that there were all these seeds that were being deliberately planted that are going to blossom later on down the road.
Right.
You might catch something the second time around that you didn't catch the first time.
Yeah. One of the nicest compliments I've gotten from some fans is they've written and told me that literally they've reread the series, 10 or more times. They get something new each time. That makes me feel great.
Awesome.
That's my goal.
So, okay, now Keith had kind of touched on this. So let me start with this. How much of the series is mapped out, and how far do you really plan on taking it?
I would, Daw just bought books 14 and 15.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
So they'll be coming out in December 2016 and May 2017. So we're confirmed through at least 15. I would like to get to 16 to 20. Kitty assures me that their lives will never be boring. So I don't really have a worry about having things happen. And I know where I'm taking the series, so that's great. Basically, the way I write, and this is true of how I write everything, most everything I see in series. The standalones that I see as standalones, many of the times they're short stories. And I'll have fans, I want to see more in this universe. It's like, well, if the characters share, but we wrote that as a standalone, them and me together, and that's all you're getting. But I never say never anymore, because I've gone back to things I didn't think I was going to.
Speaking of which, I'm going to sound like a heretic, but I love Kitty and I love the series, but I really want to see some more of the stuff because I've read all the other stuff. Now I understand that like the Happy Acres Hotel that's probably a standalone.
It is.
It would be neat.
Begged me to have more.
It would be neat, and I was just thinking about this earlier today. Is like maybe that's a portal. Somebody else comes in and takes over because the evil's gone now, or something.
All the evil isn't gone.
Oh, I know. She is gone.
She's not even gone.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
There. She's just contained and happy.
Right.
So yes, I could go back to that.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand
really
that one's a standalone.
Well,
Yeah,
it was a standalone. I've had a lot of requests on that one.
I know, but at the same time, you just don't want to go back to it because that's what everybody's expecting.
Right.
It becomes a very inorganic process.
Maddie has to tell me that something new is happening.
Right.
yeah. And then
Maddie has to.
You have to let the voices tell you it is time.
And usually it's a lead character or a strong supporting character. For example, the character that drives the Alien series, I've said this now enough that people can guess, but the character that drives the Alien series is not the character most people would think. So I'm going to ask you, who do you guys think drives the Alien series? Which character?
Wow. I would. Well, it's not Kitty.
It's not Kitty.
It's not Kitty. So it's.
And I'm saying drives the series for me as an author, as the voice in my head.
I'm thinking Jeff.
No,
I think it's Mr. White.
At the end of each book, Martini is happy as a pig in mud that they.
So then, is it Christopher?
No.
I think it's
Christopher tomorrow.
Or Mr. White?
I think it's Mr.
Not
White.
Richard. No.
Really,
not Richard.
It's Chucky.
Real.
I
Oh,
should
it
have.
makes sense.
It makes sense.
now.
I should have known.
It
An
makes
alien
all sense
steal
now.
My girl. Oh, every night I hear it. And then you did unspeakable things later that I can't tell you about because you're not caught up.
No,
Right.
but
Spoiler-free.
I do know something about an upcoming story. So
That's right.
Yeah.
But
I know something.
Chucky is the character, and it cracks me up that I have readers, loyal, long-time readers, who hate him. It's like,
Oh,
really,
I
love
Chucky.
Chucky.
it's like without Chucky, you got no series.
I think Chucky's
he's
awesome.
a big pain in the ass, but
Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
How you
I
said
think
it.
Chucky's
I love
awesome.
Chucky.
At times,
I
he
love and adore Chucky.
There
Yeah.
is not one of.
He's
I guess
my favorite of the supporting
he's a
characters.
pain in the
Reader.
butt because of both
keeping
he
Martini
and
on his
Martini
toes.
are just at each other, and it's just
That
like,
does wear off.
come on,
You
can
know,
you
they grow up.
just?
No, they
yeah.
do.
Well,
They grow up.
I've
You're seeing it. You
Yeah,
do.
I've
Oh
seen
yeah,
it. Well,
absolutely.
yeah.
yeah.
I've seen it.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Keith has said that he's already gone through all the books so far. I'm currently on book 7,
and
I've already seen how they're now beginning to get along.
But
Yeah.
you know nothing.
I've been
That's really
working
true.
long hours.
That's
Thank you
really
very
true.
much.
That's really true.
It really they've
Universal is going to blow your
yeah.
mind.
Oh wow.
I'm so I have been working for that book for pretty much since book 3, really since the first book, but definitely since book 3. My editor at DAW, Sheila Gilbert, who's like the best editor in the world, she and I, every book, we go over how does that affect Universal Alien.
Wow.
Every time we go over everything, how's this affecting Universal Alien? I made changes and things that she and I were planning on doing because it was going to affect Universal Alien.
So Universal Alien sounds like it was maybe not the end game, but it was certainly a goal line, if you will.
It was absolutely, for me as an author, it was a goal. It was a goal book. When I started the series, I could not have written it. And I even said that to Sheila. I said, I'm not a good enough author to write that book yet, but by the time we get there, I will be.
So all these other books leading up to it are preludes.
Pretty much. Well, not really. You have to have all of them to understand. Really, I would tell you that all the books stand alone, but it will cause me physical pain if people pick up book 10 and read it without having read the others.
Right.
Because it is you need all 9 books to really understand the impact of 10.
Well,
Right.
and at the same
Universal
time,
Alien has a huge residence throughout this entire universe.
And at the same time, I would tell any reader who wants to invest the time to read the Alien series, definitely start from book 1. It's worth the fun.
Yes, it is.
It is pure fun.
And also, I really got to be honest. If you hated Touched by an Alien, you're not going to like the rest of it. So
Right.
stop there.
Well,
I mean, honestly,
and as we said,
do not like it.
And Touched by an Alien, 2 pages into it, I couldn't put the book down.
Right, and there's some people who can't make it 7 pages.
oh my.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
no, I still see their reviews.
Let's talk about I do want to talk about Universal Alien because that's coming out, but I also do want to talk about some of your other stuff because I think it's all brilliant. There's been nothing.
Do go on.
Nothing that I have read that I disliked at all in the least.
I am so happy. They didn't tell me this before I came. I'm staying. I'm never leaving now.
Now, the Gemma Chase, The Waiting and Amazing were amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, The Waiting, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, and those are standalone. And then Amazing was like, oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
But those are great. I know that, you know,
those are
I would
definitely standalones. We're never
yeah,
going back.
absolutely.
We're never going back.
No. I wouldn't expect, but I would like to see some other things like that from Gemma Chase.
I recently got my rights back from Music Publishing, where I published a lot of like the first two things that I wrote as Gemma, one of which is called Hotter Than Hell, and one is The Disciple. And I'm going to be putting, I think I'm going to be putting little box sets together. So you'll have Amazing, Waiting, The Disciple, and Hotter Than Hell put together. And if I actually have a Ghost Hunters series that I'm writing as Gemma. That it's not contracted, so it's not a priority. But I really love it. I love the characters, and I really want to get that out there and get.
Those are nice little shorts. They're little diversions that really, as you said, there's always a mystery, and I love that because
it's hard for me.
They end up, and it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Mysteries are really my first. I mean, I love mysteries, and the hardest thing in my All the Single Ladies story in 221 Baker Streets was that I didn't have enough room to make the mystery as convoluted as I wanted to.
Right.
I had to make it a little bit more straightforward, just because I didn't have the space. But if I ever get a chance, and I am hoping that I will, to write longer or more stories with my version of Sherlock and John. And I love my version of Sherlock and John. And if you read reviews, you'll find out. So I guess I really shouldn't be coy about it. I was coy about it, and then the first review that we got threw my big twist. But I have a female Sherlock. And a male Sherlock.
Wow, cool.
And I love them. They are they're set in present day Los Angeles.
Well,
Cool.
the fact that we could
some of that stuff up because I haven't, as I said, I haven't read any of the anthology stuff.
The 221 Baker Streets anthology is awesome. So
I mean, I don't see any reason why people should really kind of sneer at it. I remember when Elementary was first coming out, a lot of people were just really up in arms at the idea that Watson was a woman, but it worked out really, really well for the show. So to have a female Holmes, I see nothing wrong with it.
I like my Sherlock a lot. A reviewer said she's not nearly as acerbic as the others, and she's not, because honestly, once I graduated as a reader, and I'm talking about like 7. Once I was really reading on my own and by myself and everything, I read, you read the children's books, and I read the Happy Hollisters, which I'm like the only person that's ever heard of the Happy Hollisters. I don't know where my mother found them, where she dredged them up, but I read all the Happy Hollisters. They were 6 kids that solved mysteries. They were, 6 brothers and sisters. And, Trixie Belden and Nancy Drew and
Maybe
all
she wrote them.
No. No, she didn't. Trust me. Yeah, trust me on that one. No. I moved right to Sherlock Holmes and O. Henry. So, I was reading the godfather of short stories is O. Henry, and the godfather of mysteries is Arthur Conan Doyle. And so I was reading those. So Holmes is not a jerk. He's really not. Everybody, and especially Benedict Cumberbatch.
He thinks on a different level.
He does, but the Sherlock that gets portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch is a sociopath, and Holmes is not a sociopath, and that it just drives me nuts because he was never rude to women. He was never rude to people in a lower station from himself. He was actually very kind. He was absolutely a gentleman. He was a caring person. He cared about the underdogs. He cared about the helpless and the weak. He would take a case from a poor person if it interested him, whereas a rich aristocrat, he would turn his nose up because your case is boring to me and you're a pompous ass. So Holmes was not. Now, the people he is derisive of, the police, because he feels that he's doing a tremendously better job than they are. And Watson, he teases a lot because this is his best friend. This is his only
Right.
friend, and it's his only friend because it's the only person that really understands his life.
We're the meanest to the people that we love.
Yeah, and it's also it's the person that he can. It's my critique partner Lisa DeVicki and I mean, this is someone I talk to every single solitary day. If we miss a day, we're like, I didn't talk to you, I feel a lack. And we are merciless in how we tease each other, because she's like, she's not just my best friend forever, she's my best friend forever. You tease it. So that's what he is with Watson. They're teasing each other because they're tight, not because he's a sociopath. So I really don't like the sociopathic spin that everybody's putting on it. I do like the Robert Downey Jr. versions. He's not really a sociopath. He really... Even though they're steampunk,
he's just he's much more intelligent than anybody
and he's
around
got a
him.
very puckish sense of humor,
Right?
And it shows up. And so I like Johnny Lee Miller's take on Holmes, and I loved in season 2 he's saying at his alcoholic or his drug anon meeting is that maybe if I love this touch, maybe if I lived in a different age.
Right.
Where we weren't just hit. Maybe that was the right place for me when things just didn't get so loud and so much. I'd want some of the benefits of civilization. Maybe 100 or so years ago, kind of thing.
Right.
Which was, I think, a wonderful, beautiful nod to the originals. So my Sherlock is not a raging biatch. She just has, she's got a very quirky sense of humor. She knows she's the smartest person in the room. She doesn't have to prove it.
So since we're talking about the police, let's talk about the Night Beat.
Okay.
That was incredible.
Oh, thank you.
I loved it. I really did.
You.
It was very quirky, but I loved it. We like quirky.
Yeah.
I mean, both of us
good.
like really quirky things, and I thought it was really neat, and I'm looking forward to something more from that.
That is coming. Night Music, which is book 2 in the Necropolis Enforcement Files series, is coming out in early 2015, I swear. Not only that, if you go to my website, www.GiniKoch, GINIKOCH.com, you can hit my premieres page and see the cover. We have a cover.
Yay.
You got a cover. It means it's coming. The Night Beat, which is book 1, is right now only available in the box set of Sensational 6, which is available for 99 cents. You get the full-length novel of The Night Beat from me. You get a novella from Sasha White, a novella from Jordan Summers, a novella from Marshilla Rockwell and Jeff Marriott, who write together. You get a longer novella from Karis Rohn and Viviana, and then you get the novel from me, and it's 99 cents.
I must have got it before.
You got it before. And that's the only place. Plus, if you get the box set right now, for less than $1, you also get a long excerpt from Night Music.
Yay.
Yes, so that is coming.
So, and we talked about the other Gini Koch, the hotel, Happy Hotel for seniors.
The Happy Acres Haunted Hotel for active seniors.
So the other items from Gini Koch is the Martian Chronicles Martian. What is it? Martian Alliance. Martian Alliance. Yes, I thought both of those were really good. I was like, wow.
Number 3 is almost done, and those are coming back to me from Musa as well. And I will probably be re-releasing them in 2015.
Cool.
So you get the
I thought the
first 2
characters were very engaging.
Thank you.
And the stories were, it's like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. And it just kind of ended, and it's like, oh no, there's more there. There's more there.
There is more there. I just haven't had a chance to really get to. But I do have the 3rd one, which is A Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life.
Yeah, book 1 is The Royal Scam, book 2 is 3 Card Monte, and book 3 is A Bug's Life.
Cool.
So.
That I'm looking forward to that one. That one could be pretty cool.
So yes, those are coming.
The characters, you have to know the characters, so to understand that
yes,
title.
Yes. So that one, those are coming, and those are the Gini Koch ones. And then Alexander Outland is G.J. Koch.
Yes, I thought that was great too.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that one a lot.
We are shopping that to another publisher that was part of the Nightshade debacle that would take an entire another podcast to go over. But the current people who are Nightshade or who have the Nightshade imprint have released me and given us, we can do whatever we want with the rest of the series.
Cool.
So they still hold the first book. So we're hoping we can find another far superior. I whispered that on purpose. Publisher to take the rest of the series.
Cool. That would be interesting to see where that goes to.
Definitely.
I
I have at least a trilogy mapped out for
Oh, cool.
His Crew. Yeah. So I can go longer, but I have at least 2 more books.
And then there's Anita and Sal, which I enjoyed A Cup of Joe.
Thank you.
It was great. I don't know if that has any more. I could see maybe, but I doubt it. It kind of seemed like
the Neighborhood series, though, which is Being Neighborly and Contingency Plan. That I have more stories.
Oh, I haven't seen.
Those are also, you can't get them right now. They're also coming back and they'll also be released.
Right.
And right now I'm planning book 3 on that, installment 3 on that to be Fool's Gold. But yeah, that's about basically a whole little town of white witches.
Oh, cool.
Warlocks and
That could be fun.
Yes, it's a very fun series. I really like that. So.
Well, and so you can see I've read.
Yes, you.
I have read everything.
Yes,
it's like I'm going to buy that. Oh my gosh.
Yes, and then it's J.C. Koch. I write horror, and I have a short story in A Dark Fantastique, which is an anthology, and in The Madness of Cthulhu, Volume 1, plus some that are in magazines and such. It's really nice to be able to write horror after you've written a couple of funny books. You can go and just kill things with impunity, and it doesn't have to have a happy ending, and the monster can win.
And of course, I'm sitting here shaking my head. Nobody can see me. But I'm just, yes.
Well, you just touched on something that kind of has me interested. In one of your earlier Alien books, there was, and I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I will say that a beloved secondary character was near death.
Yes.
And I remember that as I read it, I literally had to put the book down because I was terrified as to what was going to happen. I was
Alien in the family. I know exactly
I was so close to just breaking down crying.
That is everybody's reaction.
But
that was the author's reaction as she wrote it.
Thank you. You brought me to tears.
I'm a linear writer, keep in mind, so I don't know that character is going to survive until I keep writing.
Well, the thing that impressed me, though, is that just pages later, we're back into funny.
Yes.
We're keeping it light. So
just wait till you get to book 8.
So
Alien Research, bring some tissues.
Oh, dear.
Alien Research, bring some tissues. And I got to tell you, again, Lisa, I was on the phone with her. I don't want it. You have to. She sounded like Satan half the time. I don't want to. You know you have to.
Yeah.
Don't make
I know.
me do it.
But there are moments that Keith, I was talking to the room, Keith was crying.
I was the rare reader that if you've read all the other 7
thinking
books,
about
you're
it
crying.
just brings me to
tell you,
it's like, oh my god,
it was hard for me. The first one in particular, that's the one I got the most crap for, which I understood, but people were understanding. I actually have a fan, Joseph, who, not Joseph my PA, but Joseph will know who I'm talking about when I say it. His favorite characters are the Poofs. He loves the Poofs. Every time he sends me information, he's always got a poofy comment, right? And I knew if he could forgive me, everyone else could handle it.
Yeah.
And he did.
Okay. Now, see, I haven't gotten to that part of the book, and now I already know.
Sorry. Yeah, know. You just think you know.
Well, I know something happens.
Something happens. That's right. Sorry.
Well,
when 10 comes out, it is honestly gets exceedingly more difficult to not give spoilers and actually talk about your series.
Well, the thing,
I don't know how J.K. Rowling did it.
I don't.
About it.
I'm sitting here. I've read all the books, and my husband is sitting here, and he's still on what book?
Book 7.
Book 7. You're like catch up.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Come on.
Really?
Catch up.
Can I have so much I want to talk about.
And when we were on vacation, I was like ahead of him.
Oh yeah,
constantly. But when we get back, work kind of took me away from reading all the time, which has been kind of rough. What I'm curious about is, as a writer, how hard does it become to try and balance the tragic with the light?
it's been an adage for how long? Dying is easy, comedy is hard. I have got to tell you, it takes some serious... let me toot my own horn. It takes serious skill to do something incredibly tragic and make you laugh a page or two later. It is really difficult. And it's some serious craft. So people that tell me, oh, I can do what you do, it's like, yeah, show me. Because I gotta tell you, humor's hard.
And to make it come across as being genuine.
Yes.
That's the trick.
Yes, you have to make... One of the things, though, is that humanity in general, we use laughter to survive through pain. That's one of the reasons why, the basic adage is that comedians all had horrible childhoods or horrible lives in some way, because that's why they're funny. And there's a lot of truth to that. Is because you literally, every time something horrible happens, you really have the choice to laugh or cry. And what do you choose?
Choose to laugh.
You choose to laugh.
I choose to make a joke about it.
Some people choose to laugh, and some people choose to cry. Kitty chooses to laugh, and or get really mad.
And take names.
I cry and then I laugh, or I laugh and then I cry.
Yes, but Kitty does the same thing. But there are some people who wallow, and Kitty's just not a wallower. And really none of my characters are. I find it very difficult to write. Almost impossible. I cannot. I'm just going to put that one out there. I cannot write a main female lead who's a wimp.
No pity parties in your books.
No. Well, someone can have a pity party.
Well, no continuing
pity party actually happens in one of the books, if you remember.
Yes.
In fact, I think it's happening in the book you're reading. I think it happens in 7. But that gets put to a stop by Kitty.
Right.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But the pity party.
But
is
I mean,
going on.
no pity parties that go on for months.
And not a major, not the main character. A supporting character is allowed to do that,
right? And
then get swept upside the head. But not a main character. I just cannot write female characters. They're like, oh, I can't handle that. No. I just, I'm not that. Honestly, that's the me there. I'm not that kind of woman. I've never been that kind of woman. And I don't want to be that kind of woman. And I don't want my main characters I was spending the most time with because I'm in their heads. I don't want them to be like that.
So, anything that you want to share about Universal Alien?
It's the best book ever written and a deal at twice the price.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. I mean, obviously, without we don't want to give away no spoilers because we are spoiler free. But what kind of future ideas can maybe you tease us with?
Well, I think we were touching on this earlier. When I'm writing a book, I tend to see the next 2 to 4 books going. So when I was writing Touched, I didn't even know it was going to be a series, but then as I was writing it, I saw Alien Tango and Alien the Family, and as I was writing Tango, I saw Alien Proliferation. As I was writing Alien in the Family, I saw, okay, I think that's where we're going after this natural progression. And then with 4, I saw Diplomacy and Versus and House and Alien Research actually kind of came out of nowhere, and it showed up because I realized I'd done math wrong, and things that happen in Alien Collective could not happen with the math I had done. And I called my editor at like 11 p.m. her time, and she took the call, proving once again what a wonderful person she is and how used to authors she is. And I was explaining this, and we tried everything we tried to fix the math problem, made it worse. And I said, but I could just put another book in there. And she's like, okay, but what would you call it? I'm like, well, it'll be Alien Research to me. I'm like, oh my God, this book. She says, well, you still have enough for Alien Collective. I'm like, oh yeah, trust me, no problem. And so, she's like, okay, so we did the contract. My agent called me the next day and she said, anytime you want to sell a book like that, the easiest sale I've ever had in a 40-year career, you go ahead and do it. In fact, I'd like to encourage you to do that more.
There we go.
So
it makes me money and it makes you money.
It's like, wow, that was the easiest sale I've ever had, ever, right? So that was great, but that's Daw. It was a wonderful publisher. And so that one came out of nowhere. But for the most part, I see the book. So right now, while I was writing Universal, I was seeing what was going to happen in Alien Separation and then Alien in Chief and Camp Alien, which are coming up. But I've already kind of seen those. And then, when I'm very title driven. So when we were selling books 14 and 15, Alien Nation will be book 14, and I know what that's about. And then Sheila did not actually like my title for book 15. And so I gave her all my other potential titles, and she picked one. And that's like, okay, now I know where the book and the series are going. Because I was going a different direction, but we picked that title, so it's going that direction. And I like the new direction better. So, once
cool.
again, the agent proves that she is wise.
Wow.
And that is, what is book 15? It's a new one. Oh, Aliens Abroad.
Oh, interesting. So 11 is
Alien Separation.
Alien Separation.
And
That one doesn't. I don't like the title.
Everybody. This one I will spoil. It has nothing to do with Jeff and Kitty's marriage.
Yeah.
People
Okay.
panic.
Okay.
When I heard it that way. It's like, no, it does not have to do with that. That is not them.
That's what I was
That it is
afraid of.
not.
And
No.
of course
Jeff
we
and
haven't
Kitty
talked
yeah.
since.
No, Jeff and Kitty are not. Just to reassure the world, Jeff and Kitty, that's not. No, we're trying to live apart. That's not what that book's about.
Okay.
At all.
So then 12 is
Alien in Chief, extrapolated, as you will.
Given some of the titles
then-
that we've had and where the things are kind of
and
going.
13 is
Camp Alien.
Camp Alien. Ooh.
I
can't wait for that.
I'm kind. Yeah, I kind of know where
That
that's
one-
headed. I've got an
Oh,
idea.
but that has so many different connotations,
Well,
especially
especially
when-
after
when
Alien in Chief.
Alien.
Yes.
Yes. Because
you're on the right track, I think.
yeah, and then you
that's on the
go
right track.
Camp Alien.
Camp Alien,
I mean,
then it's Alien Nation, and then it's Aliens Abroad.
I kind of have a sense of where this is all headed, but
Oh.
I'm still fascinated to
you
actually
think
read it.
you know.
You
think
think you know.
if you got in that head, you would be so confused.
That's very
If
true.
I got into her head, I'd be deaf from all the voices screaming at
They
me.
really do. They really do. And the voices that are the loudest are the voices whose stories I'm not working on. And I'm not talking about like Nap and Slinky and the governor from the Alexander Outland series. And I'm not even talking about Victoria and her crew because they're getting worked on. I'm talking about characters who are not even right now in my queue that want me to come back to them. Those characters are really loud and really whiny, and it's very challenging conveniently for everybody. Chucky's the loudest, so you're all good. Wow, yeah, I wrote Touch by an Alien, and he has never stopped whining since. So, which is
I've never
great.
struck me as Chucky as a whiny.
He is to me. He's pissed at me.
Well,
He's not
okay, I can
pissed
see.
at
I can
anybody
see he's
else.
Well,
pissed,
yeah.
but he doesn't strike me as a whiner.
He is to me. Not to anybody else, but he is to me.
Well, I could see that. I could.
He is to me.
Why are you doing this to me?
Pretty much. You love
why are
me
you,
best. And
Why
I
are
do.
you
I
doing
love
this
Chucky.
to me?
I love Chucky.
You
I
love me
Chucky.
best, but you gave her to the alien.
You let an alien steal my girl. I
Exactly.
heard that every
Yeah.
night lying down for, I don't know when to Touch by an Alien. No, I wrote Touch by an Alien way before it got published. So I've been hearing that since 2007.
Oh my.
2007, you let an alien steal my girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But y'all should be happy because that's why we're going to at least 15 because Chucky's still whining. So, to me. But I love the character. I
Yeah.
love the
Okay,
character.
which-
I love Reader too. Reader's
Yeah. Oh, I love Reader.
Oh, Reader is one of my favorite
Pierre,
characters.
Pierre is just.
I adore Pierre. Pierre.
Adore Pierre.
The characters, Pierre, Mr. Joel Oliver, and Len and Kyle all show up in the third book, Alien in the Family. And they were all only supposed to be in that book.
Really?
And I loved all four of those characters so much.
Yeah.
Especially Pierre, but I really liked the others too, that I had to find a way to bring them back.
Yeah. I thought whenever I saw them, I thought, okay, well, these are characters that are here just for this book.
That's what they were
And
Yeah,
then
but when they
then
came
it's like-
back,
it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Here's
I
Mr.
was
Joel Oliver.
So happy.
And then, oh my God, there's Pierre, or there's Len and Kyle, and then there's Pierre, and it's like,
So
oh
happy
my
when Pierre
God.
gets out of the car, and Reader had already told me what he was doing. When Pierre gets on, I was just, and Sheila read it, and she called me. She says, "I'm so happy Pierre is back." I'm like, "Me too. I love him so much." So I adore Pierre. I adore Pierre. Should a movie ever happen, Neil Patrick Harris, you were born to play Pierre.
Yay, that would be great.
Oh, he would be fantastic.
if we're going to talk about characters that I don't want to say they're tertiary, but they're kind of on the outskirts, but they play significant roles.
Yeah.
I thank you for Olga.
I love Olga.
I love Olga. I
Yes.
love Olga.
She is such a fantastic character. Now, one of the things that has been very prevalent in all of your
And
books.
she just takes it all in stride. It's
Yeah.
just like,
She's
I
like
lived in the
the
former Soviet Union.
I lived-
Everything is.
She's just
Nothing
she's
is foreign.
The epitome of cool.
Yeah.
That woman is the epitome of cool. And I love Adriana. I love
Oh,
Adriana.
yes.
I do too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who is basically what her grandmother was before MS hit.
Right.
Yep.
So
And what I was saying is one of the things that I really have just so enjoyed in all of your books is the constant infusion of pop culture.
yeah, lots and lots.
What is it about pop culture that has you so enamored with it?
You know, and it is an enamoration that I have. I think that deriding popular culture is foolish because some of that will last forever. Some will be a flash in the pan, but some of it will last forever. Charles Dickens was a rock star in his day, meaning Charles Dickens was part of pop culture for his day. Man has lasted. Man was a rock star. I'm telling you right now, I realize people find Dickens very difficult to read because
I love it.
I love Dickens, but part of why I love Dickens is I totally understand that at the era he was writing in, if you've never seen France, and most of the people reading he had to describe everything stone by stone, inch by inch, which is why it's so descriptive. If Dickens was writing today, he would be writing in the same prose that everything that sells. He is the reason authors, frankly, should celebrate his birth and his death because he is the reason we make royalties. He is the reason we don't just struggle in poverty. He was a rock star and he took care of not only himself but everybody else.
Right.
He was the one that made that royalties happen. So I bow to the shrine. But he was pop culture for his day. Shakespeare was pop culture for his day.
Right.
He wrote, let's be honest, as far as the people of his day were concerned, he wrote trash.
Yeah.
Okay, he was writing trash. It was just really popular trash.
Right.
That now we revere. Okay, so popular culture tells you a lot about that culture. It tells you about that time. And, anyone who says, oh, I'm not affected by pop culture is lying.
Well,
it's BS.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a lie. Okay, I was joking earlier about your cats throwing us some shade. That is a new phrase, right? And I'm just... the young folks like it when I get down verbally with them. What movie is that from?
Couldn't tell you. I've had too much
Real
wine.
Genius.
Only seen it once.
Yeah. Oh my
there's-
God, only once. I don't know
Yeah.
that I can love you anymore.
And
I love
there's
that
some references that's like, did she really go there?
She went there, absolutely.
I can't remember some, and it's just like
a pop culture comment all the time. She's huge in pop culture. She's huge into music. She's huge into whatever is new and whatever is now. She keeps up. It's one of those things I joke about to my daughter. If you ever catch me listening to talk radio, and it's not because we're listening to an interview I've done or an interview by one of my friends, you need to get me. You need to check for the pod person. You need to get me to the hospital because I'm listening to rock and roll, all music, current and old. I like everybody's music, not just the era when I was young. I like the music today. Well, I'm not really enamored of the folk resurgence, but it really does explain why Good Charlotte and Sum 41 and all those other bands that my daughter and I were listening to when she was a preteen and a teenager, why they're still relevant today because there is nobody fighting the man. They're all like strumming guitars and singing Kumbaya. Right. It's really weird.
There's a couple of bands that I've had to say to him, who's this?
Why?
and why?
Yeah.
And then he says, "There's and I've only stumped him a couple of times, or you've only stumped him a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's like we had to look him up, and it's like, and then it made sense.
I have an incredibly wide. I have a wider, more eclectic musical taste than Kitty does. I like something in every genre other than the heavy-duty electronica like KMFDM. My husband likes that. So we have KMFDM. Should I ever need to use it to, like go insane and kill somebody? No. I joke to him all the time. I understand why those kids why the Columbine kids listen to KMFDM and want to kill somebody. I said, when you play 3 songs of KMFDM in a row, I want to kill somebody too. It's you.
Wow.
I want to kill you. I can't stand that music. Because to me it doesn't sound like music. But I like there's some electronica I like too.
Yeah.
I can find everything. And I have incredibly wide and deep musical tastes.
Well, if you looked at my playlists, I mean, mine are pretty broad now. And we're in this house. He's the rock
I'm a very prog rock.
Yeah,
Kinda guy.
and metal, and he'll listen to some metal and whatnot. I'm more classical and opera, and
I can't write to it.
and I mean that.
I like classical. I can deal with classical. I need lyrics. I cannot write without lyrics
Wow.
going on in the background. So classical's been dead to me since I started writing.
You see,
I can't write.
I put on just a little bit ago before we came in here the Haydn string quartets.
Yeah.
And that's something that just it will if string quartets put me right back into the mood. But I'm I'm an opera.
I think it all
more
depends
opera
on what kind of
and-
mind you have and how the music will help you process.
Exactly.
Chaos
But
writer.
I do like a lot of rock. I mean, I've gone to a number of concerts with him.
But I'm a chaos writer.
Yeah.
I write better in a bar that's crowded with stuff going on than I would write in silence. I don't write well in silence. I don't do anything well in silence. I like chaos. I create in chaos. So for me, I need to have music going. Our house is a small house. And when I was first writing, I'd be in my office, which is right next to our dining room, which is right next to our living room and our kitchen. And my husband and our daughter would be, having a conversation or watching television. And I'm writing with music playing. They're doing their thing. I'll look over occasionally. Whatever. I write really well in chaos. Silence, not as much. I'm getting better. I've actually forced myself to learn to write in silence, just in case.
So the chaos in your head,
music becomes almost
and
a
the
white
chaos that's outside of you
Does
kind
it
of
help
balance each other out.
I was going to say that. Does it actually do that? Does it balance out your
I
mind?
can see how that would work.
The music goes in almost, and I need to give them the shout out here. The band, okay, actually I'm going to ask you, what band do you think it is that is the band that actually drives the Alien series? That my go-to band.
Really? You have to ask that question?
You're going to be wrong. Go ahead.
It's not Aerosmith then.
It's not Aerosmith. No, it is not actually Aerosmith. You're never going to
Really?
I'm going to guess the Ramones.
No,
Not the Ramones.
I would. You threw this one out there, and I'm going to say Tears for Fears.
No. The reason you can't guess it is, as to date, they have never gotten a shout out in the series, even though without this band, we wouldn't have a series.
Really?
Smash Mouth.
Really?
Particularly Get the Picture. They sing about aliens and planets and everything else. They are peppy. I love this band. They wrote Touched by an Alien. I was listening to that. That album came on, and I just listened to Get the Picture on repeat for hours and days, weeks. Seems like, oh no. And I need to get Alien Separation finished, and I've even talked on Facebook. It's like, okay, guess what? All I'm playing right now, all Smash Mouth, all the time. And I gotta tell you, it's just flowing. That is my band. That is a good. And
when are you going to give them the shout out in the book?
I managed to work it. Here's the problem. The reason that a lot of bands that I listen to do not get a shout out is because their song titles don't actually fit, because not everybody knows who the bands are. So the song title has to fit. That's why you'd have a lot more Fall Out Boy in the books, because I listen to Fall Out Boy a lot. I'm sorry, emo rock is working a lot for me. So I have a lot of Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, Neon Trees. Now the Neon Trees actually have titles I can use. Fall Out Boy, on the other hand, and Panic at the Disco for a while, they were quirky. So their titles were like 15 words long and had nothing in relationship. Like, our lawyer made the change the title so he wouldn't get sued. Dude,
what
I
the
can't
hell
use
does that mean?
Exactly. I can't use that. I Don't Care, on the other hand, works. So I can use that. And Kitty uses it all the time. It's a great song. I love that song. But I can use it because it fits. So I can't use a lot of the titles. Now,
what about lyrics?
You can't. You actually go into copyright infringement.
Coughing
up lyrics. So you have to be careful. So it has to be. So if you notice, when there's a title of a song like Enter Sandman, does not fit for when it's used in Touched by an Alien. So Kitty explains it to you, so that if you've never, and it hurts me, but people haven't heard Metallica's greatest song ever, the greatest rock song ever written. If they haven't heard Enter Sandman, and it hurts me still, you know what it's about because Kitty describes it.
I will
Right.
pretend that I've heard it.
I have.
I probably heard it. I
The
just
best
probably don't.
song. I love that song.
I've heard a lot of
Keep in
things.
mind, I
But
adore Aerosmith. Aerosmith is my favorite band in the world. But the best real rock song ever to me is Enter Sandman, which is why Kitty loves it. But and it works because she told you in Touch by an Alien exactly what that song's about. So
Right.
you don't need to have ever heard it to understand it. But I can't have her explain every single frickin' song because
Right.
it's ridiculous. Then then it's like Kitty's playlist, not alien proliferation or whatever.
Right.
So you have to have titles that work. So a lot of the bands I actually listen to do not have titles that work. So they're bands that are on my playlist that believe me, I spend time on my playlist because those help me drive the music. The playlist, there are bands on there that, like Joseph, my PA, when we are traveling to cons and stuff, we'll be listening. He's like, this band never gets a shout out. No, they don't. Because they don't have a single solitary title that works, but their music worked for me. But Smash Mouth really is. Now, on the other hand, right now and for upcoming books, I think I can be working Smash Mouth in. And I really feel bad because I love this band and they never got as big as I think they should have gotten. So I really feel for them because they're a band I really like. They seem like really cool guys and everything else.
Right.
And I just really want... way back when, a friend of mine, we were at a Muse concert because they're okay, but they are not my Muse. They were, Stephanie Meyer's Muse for the Twilight series. And my friends are with huge Twihards, right? So we're there at the concert because I like live concerts, so we're there. And one of my friends looks at me and she goes, "Oh, just think one day someone will be at an Aerosmith concert because of your series." And I managed not to say, "Oh, honey, no." That ain't never happened. Oh, honey, please. Okay. No, Muse was no one till Stephanie Meyer discovered them. No, Aerosmith has been big since
They've
I
been
was
huge
a
since-
child.
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? Maybe one day Joe Perry and Steven Tyler will grace me with acknowledging that I adore them and write about them, and that will be like the nirvana of my lifetime. But they don't need me. Aerosmith does not.
this
need
is
me.
our new song about aliens.
Right? Yeah, Aerosmith does not need me. Okay.
I mean, you might have.
Metallica does not need me. Okay?
There might be the occasional reader that's reading this and thinking, well, maybe I need to check this band out.
Right? Exactly. What? One in 2,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
0.1%, maybe.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
this is like
I've heard a
biggest
lot of the
rock bands
songs.
in
I'm
the
not
world.
I'm
Yeah.
not a big rock. I mean,
You know who
and
the hell they
Aerosmith,
are.
but-
You don't need me to tell you to listen.
yeah,
to them.
exactly.
Right.
And I know
It was
some of their
just- It was
songs.
just so sweet, and I
Yeah.
thought, wow, wow, you're so cute right now. I love you. I just want to pinch your cheeks. That's never gonna happen. Yeah, no, that's never ever gonna happen.
But yeah, you've had some really obscure pop culture references.
I do. I like that. I like.
And
to
it's
find
like,
them.
oh my god.
I am a deep, like Kitty, I'm a deep child of pop culture. I like popular
It was
culture.
great.
Way back when, just so you understand how much I like pop culture, I don't actually spend a lot of time watching television, but before TV Guide ruined itself and changed its format, and
Thank you.
became a piece of crap. Okay, it used to be a great magazine, and I would read
Cover to cover.
cover to cover.
Yep.
I read it cover to cover. I read every single description. I never had to watch television, and I didn't have to. I knew what was going on. TV Guide synopsis for each show were brilliant, right? So I knew. So I know all of this pop culture from then, and now Entertainment Weekly, God love them, is still doing stuff like that. They've changed the format. I'm not happy. Entertainment Weekly, not at all.
I haven't watched that in a long time.
But like Premiere, when it was around, was a great magazine and also gave you all this in-depth stuff. So I actually subscribe to magazines where I'm still staying on top of popular culture. I don't need to watch everything. Plus, I have friends, plus the internet. Oh my God, social media. If I want to know what's going on with Scandal, all I need to do is ask. Someone will tell me. I don't need to watch the show to know.
I'm just thinking though, in terms of TV Guide and giving synopsises, it's a good thing they probably didn't do any kind of synopsis for Saturday morning cartoons because the Scooby-Doo synopsis would read exactly the same every week.
Darn those
meddling kids.
Your dog. Yes,
Exactly.
Exactly. But I
Don't
love
you
this-
even make reference to that?
Yes, I do. Oh, I totally make Scooby-Doo references. Are you kidding? Scooby-Doo? I love Scooby-Doo. And Scrappy-Doo is an abomination. I actually love the Scooby-Doo movies. I'll admit it right now. Our daughter's young when the first one came out. And I took her because she wanted to see it. And I was drawing the short straw on that one because my husband was like, there's no way. Nothing can make me go see that. And Shaggy and Scooby are doing their fart scene, and I'm laughing my head off. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this movie. I hate to admit it, I love this movie. And in there, they do the whole Scrappy-Doo joke, and that endeared me to that movie forever. Because Scrappy-Doo was an abomination upon this earth.
Right.
I'll agree with
So, let's have a little synopsis, teaser
Oh
synopsis
my God, of what?
the new book.
Which new book? Are we talking about book 10 or book 11?
Book 10.
Remember,
The one that's
y'all
coming
are
out.
Talking about I'm right. Once it's
We're
turned in,
we're
I don't
talk-
think about that. You're
we're-
talking about book 10.
Yeah, book 10
Double the
because
kitty. Okay.
we are the day before
December,
this
December
is going to be
2nd.
released.
Double the kitty, double the fun.
Double the kitty, double the fun. Mm-hmm.
And
So-
I believe I know where the seed for that was planted.
Book 3.
Yes.
Indeed it was. Well played.
I
Alien
saw
and
it back then, and I went,
Yes.
okay.
And I'm-
I knew it was going to come to pass at some
I
point.
actually had people who wrote reviews who complained that I didn't handle that particular little clue completely in book 3. To which I said, "Wow, okay."
The
Do you
way
comprehend how a series works?
the way
Apparently
it
not.
was presented in that book, I knew that it would had to come to pass at some point because it was such a smoking gun.
Well, and then it shows up again in book 4
Yeah.
Yes.
in a big way.
Big way.
Yeah,
Actually,
big
yeah.
way.
Actually, yeah.
It'll be-
Much
But
bigger
it was
way
a
before.
huge smoking gun.
Huge smoking gun in book
And I
4
knew that it
huge
could
in 3
not
and
be
4.
left
Yeah.
alone.
No, I've been
It
building
had to
it.
be addressed.
I've been building to it. Oh, by the way, all the Glock fans who have been in pain since book 1 because in our world Glocks don't have safeties. It's finally time. Book 10 solves your pain. You will thank me. I've been promising this to you. Here it is. Get it. Stop sending me emails. I love you all so much because you care. I know. Every month now, it's slowed, but every month I get a letter from a gun enthusiast who basically explains to me that Glocks do not have safeties, and I love them because you know what, they care. They care enough to send
Right.
a thing, and it's almost always the same. There's been one guy who's been a jerk, but everyone else has been just the nicest people. You know, I love your books. I just want to tell you, this threw me out of the book. Not that they're aliens on Earth, not that they look like supermodels, not anything else, but the Glock. But that is actually why research matters and all these things. The Glock threw them out of the book, and I tell them, you know, in this universe, Glocks have safeties. In this universe, is that a hint
this-
for things to
In
come?
this universe,
Yes,
I mean,
that is
just
the
like
thing.
in this universe,
I'm-
there is a big alien base under Area 51.
Yes,
I just have to
exactly.
say
Uh-huh.
that I'm interested to see where one character goes, and he doesn't know about
Oh, so he can't say.
Which character?
the one that's kind of the
That shows up in book 8?
I don't remember.
Water treatment plant?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
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 I see
Much
that.
More on that coming.
I
but
see
not
that.
Actually, very involved in book 10.
Really
No,
interesting.
much more involved in book 11.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Not really
fascinating.
involved. Somebody else, much more involved in book 10.
Aha.
So let me
Yeah.
finish off with this one question
Okay.
here. Do you and clearly you're not just dropping red herrings
No.
all over the place.
No.
You're not. That's not your style. And
Only in a straight mystery, and a red herring is solved immediately in the mystery in
Right.
in the time. Yeah.
but nothing in the long term.
Other than about the mastermind, there are tons of red herrings for the mastermind.
But that's kind of a sleight in hand sort of thing because we
Yes.
know that there's an end game to that.
Yes.
At some point, so that's okay.
And you get to find it. By the way, book 10, for those of you following the series, you will find out the identity of the mastermind. And I just ask that all of you not share that with anyone, and please don't share it online.
So when
Please.
you're planting, when you have these opportunities to plant seeds, I mean, is this something that you're looking towards and thinking, okay, I've got this. I know I'm going to address it later. I mean, how do you formulate
yes,
that?
And sometimes no. I will tell you, in book 10, there is a giant, shocking revelation that has nothing to do with the mastermind, by the way. There's a giant, well, it does have to do with the mastermind, but not in the way anybody's thinking. There's a shocking revelation about a character in book 10 that I did not know until I was writing it. And then I went, it all fits. God, I love Master. My subconscious. Because your subconscious is doing all this. You know, that's one of the things when you're writing. A lot of the times, I actually teach a course on writing from the hindbrain, where you just basically let go and let your mind tell that story, because your mind is the best computer on the planet, and it remembers everything. You have a little problem with recall, but your mind has no problem. Your mind has everything there. So if you can find a way to access it, and I have, thank God, and you let it out, it tells you all these things. So as I need them, Master, as I call my subconscious, reveals. And so Master revealed some stuff that it's like, oh, booyah. You know, which makes me feel totally brilliant, except that I didn't know it was coming. So, you know.
Yeah, but you don't have to share that part.
No, but you know what? Really, there are things that happen in the books that shock the hell out of readers, and I just wanted to let you know they shocked the hell out of me when I was writing them.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I'm really an extreme linear writer. The biggest challenge I have with outlines is that I will know what happens, and therefore I don't care anymore, which is why I don't do them. So, because I literally...
So you write off the cuff then, and then edit the hell out of it, I'm sure.
I edit as I go. So yes, I'm editing as I'm writing, which is why, you know, if you're following my Facebook thread on the Stampeding Herd, where like, yeah, okay, I cut this many and now I'm here. But for me, that's how I work. Not everybody works that way, but that's how I work.
Right. Well, this has been great. Thank you, Gini, for
being
here with us.
Thank you for plying me with wine.
Oh, yes.
Anytime you want me over, I'm happy to come back.
There we go.
Oh, it's been fun for us, too.
We have been here with Gini Koch, the author of the Alien series. Upcoming book, Universal Alien, book number 10 on December 2nd. So that is tomorrow. So
race out.
He has get it.
A very mad-looking Chucky on the cover, too.
Yes.
That is Chucky. Thank you for knowing.
It is Chucky.
That is Chucky. That is Chucky on the cover.
Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Remember, you can comment on Facebook or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Geeks Studio, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Cheers.
Ta-ta.